Thank you, Hare Krishna. So as I mentioned, our topic for this seminar is Harinaam Chintamani. Harinaam Chintamani is a book written by Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Bhakti Vinod Thakur mentioned that he found some manuscripts written by one of Haridas Thakur's followers, and he actually noted down the instructions of Haridas Thakur in that. And based on those instructions of Haridas Thakur on the holy name, Bhakti Vinod Thakur wrote this book, Harinaam Chintamani. And at the introduction of the book, Bhakti Vinod Thakur pointed out that this book is not meant for ordinary people. This book is exclusively meant for those who have accepted Krishna consciousness wholeheartedly. Because this book is speaking about the holy name and its effect. What is the holy name? And what happens when one takes shelter of the holy name? So at the beginning we will just briefly discuss about Haridas Thakur, and before that also Bhakshila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Bhakti Vinod Thakur, how many of you know of Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur? Okay, very good, most of you know. Still, how many of you would like to hear about Bhakti Vinod Thakur? Okay. Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur was a very important government officer in the late, or you can say middle 19th century. Bhakti Vinod Thakur is a very educated person, holding a very important government position at a time when India was under the British rule. And Bhakti Vinod Thakur was a deputy magistrate. A handful of Indians had such an exalted position those days. Bhakti Vinod Thakur was one of them. Although he was holding a very important position in the British government, Bhakti Vinod Thakur became a follower of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Bhakti Vinod Thakur came across a devotee, and from that devotee, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur got to know about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his teachings. Those days in Bengal, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings was practically lost. And in the name of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings, what was going on was very, very unfortunate. In the name of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, people were indulging in all kinds of unethical activities. So much so that no cultured gentleman would want to have anything to do with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his and his culture. So at a time like that, Bhaktivinoda Thakur became aware of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings and the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's greatness, that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur naturally became interested in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and wanted to know more about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But searching all over Bengal, he couldn't find a single copy of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. He heard that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's life and precepts, life and teachings have been presented in this Chaitanya Charitamrita in a most brilliant way by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. So he naturally became interested to read about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but he couldn't find a single copy of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Finally, he found one copy of Chaitanya Charitamrita in Orissa. In whole of Bengal, he couldn't find a single copy of Chaitanya Charitamrita. So he got this copy of Chaitanya Charitamrita and he started to, when he saw what a brilliant spiritual understanding and what a brilliant life that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu led. So he started to print the Chaitanya Charitamrita with his commentary, which is known as Amrita Prabaha Bhashya, meaning a flow of nectar. The commentary that is a flow of nectar. With that commentary, he started to print Chaitanya Charitamrita and started to teach Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings. So this is how, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings was lost completely, Bhaktivinoda Thakur came to revive his teachings. An interesting thing to note here is that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to distribute Krishna consciousness, and he did. During his time, he spread Krishna consciousness all over India. The whole of India became inundated with Krishna consciousness during his time. But soon after his disappearance, his teachings and his dham, Navadvip, Mayapur, disappeared. His teachings disappeared, and his dham also disappeared. There was a massive flood, and the flood wiped out the whole of Navadvip. Nothing was left. And later on, some unscrupulous people started to claim that certain piece of land to be the land of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes, Mayapur. Now, when Bhaktivinoda Thakur started to explore the dham of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he saw that the description in the scriptures was not tallying with what is going on as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's birthplace and the place of his pastimes. So there was a dilemma in Bhaktivinoda Thakur's mind. So at a time like that, one night, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who had his house, incidentally by the time, Bhaktivinoda Thakur got a position as the deputy magistrate of that area of Krishnanagar, area which Mayapur was a part of that. And he was staying in a house in that area on the bank of the river Saraswati. And one night when he was working, with his secretary sitting on the roof, he saw the other side of the river lit up with a beautiful light. And he had the vision of a transcendental city where many devotees were chanting the holy name of the Lord. So that vision was so sudden. So he asked his secretary whether he saw anything. And his secretary just said no. But his son, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, was there, so he asked him whether he saw something. And he admitted he also had the same vision. On the other side of the river, there's a beautiful city with many temples and all kinds of divine-looking personalities of different complexions, brown, white, black. They are all chanting the holy name. So they had the vision at night. So the next morning, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur went across the river and went to the place where he saw where it seemed that he had the location of the vision. So he went there and he found that it was actually a village of the Muslims. He asked the name of the village. They said the name of the village is Miapur. Mia in Arabic language means mister. And it had a typical Muslim name. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And then he had a wonderful, unusual sight. He saw that there was a neem tree and there is a wonderful growth of tulasi trees, tulasi plants around that neem tree. And it was unusual. Usually in the Muslim areas they don't grow tulasi. Now under the neem tree there is this huge growth of tulasi bushes. So he suspected that probably this is the place where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu really appeared. Because he already had this doubt in his mind, because Bhakti Ratnakar is giving a clear description of Mayapur, the birthplace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, on the eastern bank, eastern side of the river Ganges. But what was going on at that time as Mayapur was on the western bank of the river. And then he found that other places that has been described, they all were on the eastern side of the river, not on the western side of the river. So at that time there was another very, very exalted Vaishnava personality, that is Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj at that time was 140 years old. He couldn't even stand up. He did not move. He couldn't even see, he couldn't see in the sense the lid covered his eyes, the upper lid covered his eyes in such a way he couldn't even lift his upper lid. If he wanted to see, then he had to physically lift the lid of his eyes and see. So he was so old and so incapacitated that one of his disciples used to carry, he was a very healthy, strong person. When he had to go to some place, he used to put him in a basket and carry him on his head. That is how he used to take Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. So Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj was so old, and so Bhaktivinoda Thakur went to Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj and requested him to come and identify, see whether this could be the place of Mahaprabhu's pastimes. So Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj was brought in. And I was just thinking at the back of my mind, did I say Bhakti Vinod Thakur was 140 years old, or I said Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj? Okay. So Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj was brought in, and surprisingly, as soon as Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj was brought to that place, Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, who couldn't even stand up, he jumped up and started to dance in ecstasy, jumping up few feet high on the air, saying, "This is the place of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance. This is the place of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance." So that is why, how many of you remember Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj's prayer? Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj's prayer goes like, Gaurabir bhavo bhumestvam nirdishta sajjana priya. The one who indicated the appearance place of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. Not only Bhaktivinoda Thakur had the vision, but that vision was confirmed by Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, the most exalted Vaishnava at that time. Vaishnava Sarvabhauma. Sarvabhauma means most elevated. Among the kings, these are the titles. The ruler of the entire earth planet is known as Sarvabhauma. The thing goes like king, then monarch. In English also you have that expression. Raja, Maharaja, then Shamrat, then finally Sarvabhauma, Adhipati, the supreme ruler of the planet. So in the world of the Vaishnava community, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj was considered to be the most exalted Vaishnava. So that Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj identified this birthplace of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is how we see Bhaktivinoda Thakur retrieved not only Mahaprabhu's teachings, but he retrieved also the place of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes. Even now when you go to Mayapur, there is a group of people, so-called Vaishnavas, they claim that is Prachin Mayapur. The old Mayapur, the original Mayapur is on the other side. They don't accept. And then Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he did not just accept it in that way. He was a deputy magistrate. He had access to all the government papers and maps and things. And from the maps also he established that this was actually the place. And there are so many such proofs. Like, although Navadvip disappeared, but that village is still recognized. Miyapur has been converted. The Miyapur actually was the name of Mayapur. Mayapur has been converted into Miyapur by the Muslims there. And there are so many other. There's the Chadkazi's family who was there, is still there. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to encounter with Chadkazi, there is no description of crossing the river. They just came there. straight walked to that place, and Chatkazi's place is still there. Chatkazi's Samadhi is still there. So that is another proof. In this way there are various proofs. And then later on Bhaktivinoda Thakur actually painstakingly discovered different places of Mahaprabhu's pastimes. Nowadays when we go to Mayapur, we get to see the places of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes and Nityananda Prabhu's pastimes there. So this is how Bhaktivinoda Thakur revived Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings. And he reconfirmed the gift of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through this particular book. Why did Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu come? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to distribute Krishna Prem. And what was the means of distributing Krishna Prem? The means of distribution of Krishna Prem was the holy name. How can one get Krishna Prem? He came to distribute Krishna Prem. Namo Mahavadannaya Krishna Prema Pradayate. Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauraktishe Namo. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to distribute Krishna Prem, but how did he distribute that Krishna Prem? Through the holy name. And this has been elaborately explained through this Harinaam Chintamani, that how the chanting of the holy name leads to achieving Krishna Prem. And it goes further into different types of, the deep meditation in Krishna's Krishna consciousness, deep meditation in Krishna's pastimes and so forth. We won't go into that. We'll just cover the only the Nama Tattva, the science of the holy name. Now that also leads us to understanding who is Haridas Thakur. Do you all remember Krishna's pastimes of killing Aghasura? I'm sure all of you know. Still, how many of you would like to hear about Haridas Thakur? Okay. So, Krishna killed Aghasura. Aghasura was such a terrible demon that even the demigods used to tremble in fear just by hearing his name. Now, this Aghasura was a friend of Kamsa. And Kamsa was trying to kill Krishna. So Kamsa sent Aghasura to kill Krishna. Aghasura assumed the form of a huge snake, huge python. And his purpose or his intention was that he would swallow Krishna along with his friends. He would swallow them and kill them. So Aghasura was lying on the path of in Vrindavan, and the path where Krishna would be coming with his cowherd boys and the calves. Krishna at that time was only about 5 years old. And the 5 years old, in the cowherd community, they begin their apprenticeship. They start to tend the calves. They are children, so they take care of the children of the cows. And so they took the calves and along with his friends, and on the way they saw Aghasura, but he was so huge that he looked like his mouth gaping wide open appeared to be like a cave of a mountain. And these children became excited. Oh, we found a new cave that we have never seen before. And saying that, they all just entered into the mouth of that serpent. And Aghasura was just waiting for Krishna to come in. Krishna could understand. And he was worried that all these children have entered into, all my friends have entered into Aghasura's mouth. Now they'll die along with the calves. So Krishna was wondering what to do. Then finally, he stepped into Aghasura's mouth. And as soon as he did that, Aghasura closed his mouth. And Krishna just expanded himself. Can Krishna expand himself? Can Krishna do whatever he wants to do? So he expanded himself to such an extent that Aghasura couldn't swallow him. Aghasura assumed a huge form of a serpent, but Krishna became so big that he couldn't swallow him. And not only that, Krishna started to emit heat from his body. Can Krishna do that? Can you imagine? 100 degree, 200 degree, 500 degree, really red hot. Now Aghasura tried to spit Krishna out, but Krishna got stuck in his throat. And Aghasura just started to writhe in pain. And he wanted to leave his body, but his mouth was closed, his backside was closed, so his soul couldn't leave his body. So finally his soul left the body, piercing his Brahmarandhra. There is a hole on the upper part of the brain that is called Brahmarandhra. The yogis actually leave their bodies through Brahmarandhra, and this is how they merge into Brahmajyoti. Now just by being killed by Krishna, Aghasura achieved the perfection that the yogis achieve after thousands of years of perfection. And not only he just left his body, he was just hovering on the space until Krishna came out of his mouth. And when Krishna, along with his cowherd boys and calves, came out, Aghasura's soul just entered into Krishna's body. Brahma was watching, and he was surprised. His first reason for surprise was, who is this boy? That this demon was so terrible that even the demigods used to tremble with fear just by hearing his name. Who is this demon? Who is this boy that killed this demon so easily, without any effort? Effortlessly he killed him. And not only that, after he left his body, his soul entered into his body. So who is this boy? So Brahma naturally considered, is he my Lord and Master Narayan? So Brahma kept on watching what these boys would do. Let's see. So after that, playfully, Krishna, along with his friends, took the calves, went to the bank of Jamuna, and he let the calves graze in the pasture. And then after that, they opened their food basket and that they brought from home, and they started to have their breakfast, they started to have their picnic. And during that time, Brahma saw that these boys were just sharing their food with Krishna. And Krishna joyfully eating their remnants. Some boy took a bite of some sweets that his mother made, and he said, "Hey Krishna, Krishna, my mother made such a delicious sweet. See how delicious it is." And he gave his half-eaten sweet to Krishna, and Krishna accepted that. And Krishna said, "Yes, that's wonderful." And when Krishna kept that the remaining part on the plate, another friend became curious to find out how tasty it was. So he said, "Krishna, Krishna, look at the bird there." And when Krishna looked at the bird, he took that piece from his plate and started to eat it. So seeing that, Brahma became completely bewildered. Who is that? The Narayan is taking the remnants, this boy is taking the remnants, so he cannot be Narayan. Because Narayan cannot take anyone's remnant, and no one will ever dare to give his remnants to Narayan. So when this way Brahma was thinking, then Brahma thought that, okay, let me check it out, who this boy is. So Brahma stole the calves. And all of a sudden these boys noticed that the calves are not to be seen. So they became very worried. Oh, where did the calves go? Then Krishna said, okay, you all carry on eating your food. I'll go and find out. Maybe they have just entered into the forest. So Krishna went looking for the calves, and when he came, but he couldn't find them. So when he came back, he found that the cowherd boys are also missing. So he just started to wonder, what's the matter? The calves are gone, my boyfriends are gone. So then Krishna realized that this is the doing of Brahma. So he decided to teach Brahma some wonderful lesson. Oh, you're trying to check me out. Okay, see who I am. So Krishna just expanded himself into all the calves and all the cowherd boys. Can Krishna do that? Why? Because he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And in the meantime, Brahma took the calves and cowherd boys and kept them in a yoga nidra, in slumber, in sleep, in a mountain cave. And putting them in sleep under the mountain, in the mountain cave, when Brahma turned around and he saw the same scene. For Brahma, it took just 1 second. But according to the earthly calculation, it was 1 year. 1 year actually went by. And when Brahma looked back to the same day, and he saw that these cowherd boys are having their picnic and the calves are grazing. So Brahma became very surprised that what's happening, what's the matter? Then Brahma saw that he looked into the cave and he saw that all the calves and cowherd boys are fast asleep there. And then this time when he looked back, he found that they all are 4-armed Narayans. All the calves are Narayan, all the cowherd boys are Narayan. And Krishna sitting in the middle having the picnic the same way. So this is how Brahma thought at that time, I know one Narayan. Now who is he that he could multiply himself into so many Narayans. So he must be the origin of all Narayans. And that is how Krishna's identity was revealed to Brahma. So then Brahma realized that he made a great mistake. So Brahma fell at his feet, Krishna's feet, begging forgiveness. Krishna forgave him, and Krishna also revealed his golden form. Brahma questioned, I have never seen this form before. He said, yes, I'll come in this form in the age of Kali, in the following Kali Yuga. So Brahma begged, will you please allow me to also be a part of your pastimes? Krishna said, fine, you can come. Then Brahma said, I have another request. That I, as Brahma, the greatest of all the personalities in the universe, I develop some pride that I am the greatest. And as a result of that, I forget you. I even dare to challenge you, dare to question your identity. Therefore, please don't give me an exalted birth. Please allow me to be born in a low-class family. Allow me to have a low-class birth. And as a result of that, Brahma appeared as Haridas Thakur in a Muslim family. Haridas Thakur appeared in a village called Budhan Gram in a district called Satkshira, which is in East Bengal now. And somehow, no one really knows how Haridas Thakur actually got the holy name and developed his holy name. Of course, we have to understand that he is Lord Brahma, and so it is from his previous Sukriti that he came into that position, and he developed an intense attachment to the holy name. Although he was born in a Muslim family, he was very fond of chanting the holy name. And due to his attachment to the holy name, he actually left home. And he came to a solitary place and he used to constantly chant the holy name. He left home because he didn't want any disturbance. He did not have any mundane attachment to hinder his commitment to the holy name. So he used to chant the whole day and night, and people of the place became so attracted to him that they started to sing his glory. So there was a very envious landlord, very wealthy person, and he became envious that people are becoming so attached to so attracted to Haridas Thakur. So he decided to blemish the reputation of Haridas Thakur. So he got a prostitute, very beautiful prostitute, to go and make him fall down. And he arranged that he will send the soldiers with her, and as soon as he would fall down, then he would arrest Haridas Thakur and punish him. So, but this girl said, no, don't send anybody, I'll just go by myself. And so she went in the middle of the night, came to the hut of Haridas Thakur, and she proposed that, oh, you are so handsome young man, I have become so attracted to you that unless and until I get your association unless and until you get your touch, I'll kill myself. So Haridas Thakur said, fine. But you see, every day I chant certain number of rounds of the holy name. So soon I'll be finishing. So after finishing my rounds, after finishing my chanting the holy names, I will fulfill your desire. So she just sat there and Haridas Thakur kept on chanting. And the night was over, sun rose, the day broke. So Haridas Thakur said, I'm so sorry. So come again tonight. I'll fulfill your desire. So second night also the same thing happened. And on the third night, just by hearing Haridas Thakur's chanting, just by getting this association of Haridas Thakur, the heart of this prostitute was completely purified. She recognized her mistake and she fell at his feet and she admitted what was the purpose of her coming. She told him everything. Haridas Thakur said, yes, I already knew that. And I would have left that time only. But it's because of you that I stayed on, because I wanted to deliver you. So this is the compassion of a Vaishnava. And so Haridas Thakur instructed her that you give up your sinful occupation. All the money that you have earned in this sinful way, you distribute it among the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. And you come here and you chant the holy name of the Lord. And Haridas Thakur left. And this lady did that. And she became a great Vaishnavi. Haridas Thakur left and came to a place called Fulia. And there he had the association of Advaita Acharya Thakur. Incidentally, Haridas Thakur was about 35 years older than Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Haridas Thakur, Advaita Acharya also was an old person at that time. So this all happened long before Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance. So Haridas Thakur started to stay on a cave in that place, Fulia, in a quiet, solitary place. There was a cave and he was staying there. And many people used to come to see him. But to hear from him. But when they would come, they would feel some burning of the skin. And so they couldn't understand why that was happening. That they would feel some intense burning sensation. So one day they took one snake charmer, or rather an expert who is in this art of activities of the snake, and that person actually, they thought there must be some sort of poison there. And when they took that person there, that person told that there is an extremely dangerous, extremely poisonous snake in that cave. So hearing that, all the people just left. Seeing them leaving and hearing that the snake is staying there, so Haridas Thakur said, okay, I'll let the snake have his own cave. He decided to move. But even the snake was so impressed by this behavior of Haridas Thakur, he couldn't say, well, no, you stay here, I'll leave. But then very soon they saw a huge snake, a king cobra, just sliding out of the cave. So in this way there were various wonderful activities of Haridas Thakur that he displayed even before Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance. Sometimes Haridas Thakur used to visit one of his acquaintance, Jadunandan Acharya. He was the family priest of Raghunath Das Goswami's family. Raghunath Das Goswami's father and grandfather were extremely wealthy person. Their wealth was like even greater than a king's. And so Jadunandan Acharya was their family priest. And Haridas Thakur sometimes used to visit him. So one day Jadunandan Acharya took him to Raghunath Das Goswami's house. And there was an assembly of like wealthy, pious people often would invite the learned scholars and brahmanas to hear from them about the conclusion of the scriptures. So in that assembly, the discussion started about the holy name. So some started to say that the holy name is the means to become free from sinful activities. Holy name is the means to acquire piety. Holy name is the means to achieve liberation. So to that, Haridas Thakur replied that the liberation that cannot be achieved by millions of lifetimes of Brahman realization, just by the Namabhash chanting, not even the pure chanting of the name, where there is the impression of chanting, Abhash, one becomes liberated. Koti janma brahma gyane jai mukti noy, shudhumatro namabhashe shei mukti hoy. Koti janme, meaning koti 1 crore means 10 millions. The liberation that cannot be achieved by 10 millions of Brahman realization, 10 millions of birth of Brahman realization, just by the stage of chanting, one achieved that liberation. So there was a Brahmana named Gopal Chakravarti. So generally Brahmanas are very proud of their exalted birth. So he protested. What are you talking about? Do you know what is Brahman realization? What do you know? Why are you making, how dare you make such comments? And so this actually led to some sort of discussions. And this Brahmana became so offensive that he told that if that is true, if that what you are saying is true, I'll cut off my nose. And if it is not true, then you have to cut off your nose. It was a kind of a challenge. So Haridas Thakur very humbly offered obeisances to him and left that place. And in 3 days' time, that Brahmana developed leprosy and his nose, he didn't have to use a knife to cut his nose off. By Krishna's arrangement, his nose fell off. So, in his early days, in his young days, Raghunath Das Goswami actually had the association of Haridas Thakur. That is how he actually developed attachment to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the holy name. And in this way, Haridas Thakur had many such wonderful activities. Anyway, since I started, maybe I can also speak about maybe two very important happenings in Haridas Thakur's life. Haridas Thakur was Haridas Thakur was very close to Advaita Acharya. And Advaita Acharya was a very exalted Brahmana at that time, recognized for his very exalted position in the society. And there was Advaita Acharya's father's Shraddha ceremony was going on. And after the Shraddha, it is the custom that the Shraddha Patra, the offering, the first offering of prasad is offered to the most exalted personality. So this is the Vedic culture. Like you remember when Yudhishthira Maharaj performed Rajasuya Yajna, who they decided to offer that argha, or the most distinguished, honorable person recognition? Krishna. And Shishupal became upset. So when Advaita Acharya offered that position to Haridas Thakur, the Brahmana community became very upset. That look, we are such exalted Brahmanas and disregarding us, he offered this most distinguished position to a Muslim. That must have been such a revolutionary act on the part of Advaita Acharya. So they decided to ostracize Advaita Acharya from the Brahman community. And Advaita Acharya couldn't care less because what all these nonsensical smarta Brahmanas decide, the Vaishnava doesn't care about that. But one strange thing happened to the village at that time. The fire disappeared. All the fire got extinguished. Not only the sacrificial fire, the cooking fire disappeared, their lamp fire disappeared. There was no fire in the whole place. They were surprised what's happening. They thought that they'll bring the fire from outside. From some other village they brought the fire. But as soon as they came to the vicinity of the village, the fire got extinguished. So they could presume that some offenses must have been made to Haridas Thakur, to Advaita Acharya. So they approached Advaita Acharya and told him that, look, this is what is happening. No fire in the house. So Advaita Acharya said, why? You all are Brahmanas. The fire should stay in your mouth. Because by chanting mantra you can ignite fire. That's the qualification of a Brahmana. Just by chanting mantra they can ignite fire. So he said, yes, you all are such Brahmanas. So what happened? Where is your Brahmanical qualification? So they all begged, so we must have committed an offense to you, that's why it's happening, please forgive us. So Advaita Acharya said, no, you didn't commit any offense to me. You committed offense to Haridas Thakur. So go and beg forgiveness from him. And then some description also goes like, Advaita Acharya told him that after begging forgiveness, you take some straw and ask him to blow on the straw. So they took that, they begged forgiveness. As a Vaishnava, Haridas Thakur's response was, no, you didn't commit any offense. So what you said is right. After all, I myself also was feeling so embarrassed that disregarding all the exalted Brahmanas, he just offered me that distinguished recognition. And then the Brahmanas took some straw and said, can you please blow on this? And as soon as Haridas Thakur blew, all the straw got into fire, lit up in fire. So this is how Haridas Thakur's exalted position as the greatest of all the Brahmanas, or even greater than the Brahmanas, was established. The Muslim Nawab, actually it was the Qaji, the magistrate. Seeing Haridas Thakur's activities, he became very perturbed. And he reported to the king, Nawab, that this Muslim is acting like a Hindu, so he should be punished. So the king called Haridas Thakur and asked him, see, you got such an exalted birth as a Muslim, so why aren't you taking advantage of your birth? Why did you adopt the activities of a Hindu? So Haridas Thakur said, look, so many Hindus are becoming Muslims. If one Muslim becomes a Hindu, what's the big loss? So he said, no. The Nawab said, no. Actually, this Muslim birth is so exalted that it should be considered as the greatest good fortune. And you should not degrade yourself to accept any other faith. So in this discussion, Haridas Thakur expressed his inability to give up his attachment to the holy name. And finally he told him that, look, even if my body is cut into pieces, even if my life here leaves my body, still I won't be able to give up the holy name. So Nawab became very upset, very angry. He said, oh, is that so? So let's see how true is your statement. And he immediately called the executioners, Jallads, and said, take him to 22 marketplaces, and in public you beat him to death. Beat him in such a way that everybody can see the consequence of a Muslim becoming a non-Muslim, giving up his religion. So they took Haridas Thakur and they started to mercilessly beat him. But Haridas Thakur, true to his statement, just kept on chanting the holy name. Nothing would stop. They are beating him so mercilessly that even the bystanders, the people who are crying, people are falling at the feet of those Jallads and begging them, please let him go. We'll give you so much money. We'll give you everything. Please let him go. Don't beat him like that. But still they wouldn't stop and they just kept on beating mercilessly. But Haridas Thakur just kept on chanting the holy name. So then finally these executioners, whose business is to kill people, professional killers, so they could recognize that he is an extremely elevated spiritual personality. So they fell at Haridas Thakur's feet and said, we can recognize that you are an extremely exalted personality. Now, the king has ordered us to kill you, And if we fail in executing his order, then he will kill us. So please tell us what we should do. So Haridas Thakur said, oh, you want me to die? Okay, I will die. So he laid down and there was no sign of life in his body. So they tried to pick him up and carry him to the king. But as they tried to pick him up, they couldn't, as if the weight of the entire universe came on him. They not only tried themselves, they have engaged 20, 30 other people also, but nobody could even lift him. So then they started to cry, oh, if we can't carry you to the king will not believe us and he will kill us. So then Haridas Thakur's body became light. And they carried his body to the king. And the king, the Muslim king said, he's so sinful that he shouldn't get the good fortune of getting buried. Throw him in the river. So they threw him in the Ganges. So Haridas Thakur's body came floating in the Ganges. And as it came to Shantipur, he came out of the water and started to chant the holy name. Advaita Acharya, hearing that news, what the king has ordered, became very, very worried. And hearing the sound of Haridas Thakur's chanting, he was so relieved. He came out running and he embraced Haridas Thakur. The king eventually got the news what actually happened. And then he recognized Haridas Thakur's exalted position. So, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who came to distribute the holy name, he made Haridas Thakur the Acharya of the holy name. Therefore, another name of Haridas Thakur is Nam Acharya. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki. So this Chaitanya, Harinaam Chintamani is based on the teachings of Haridas Thakur. Bhaktivinoda Thakur very brilliantly presented the glory of the holy name as it has been described by Haridas Thakur. So today I will stop now and I'll invite questions.